really appreciate you taking the time to be here. Before we start, let me introduce myself and our group members. My name is Priyaporn Phasuk. I will present you part of the origin and history of Ngan Bun Klang Ban. Here's Norapat Kopita. She will give you with the information of the beliefs and the purpose of Ngan Bun Klang Ban. And Anongnat Mukong, she will present you the process of the tradition. As you can see on the screen, our topic today is Thai culture and traditional value of Ngan Bun Klang Ban. Our talk should be relevant to all of you as Thai citizens because this is one of Thai customs that people nowadays may not know. So it's important that we know this tradition to keep it alive for the next generation. We've divided our presentation into 3 parts. We start off by telling the origin and history of Ngan Bun Klang Ban. Then we move on to the beliefs and the purpose of Ngan Bun Klang Ban. And we end with the process of the tradition. Our talk should take about 15 minutes. Please feel free to ask at the end of our presentation. And we've already provided the handout on the live group. So please open it along with the presentation to have a better understanding. The purpose of our talk today is to provide you with the information of Ngan Bun Klang Ban and realize the value of it. I believe that everyone here would have known the Lunar New Year as a celebration of Chinese, including the tradition of worship and recall to their deceased ancestor. But if we are talking about ancestor worship in Thai, could you think of one? If you couldn't, then would give more reason for you to pay attention to our presentation today. Okay, I'd like to start with the origin and history of Ngan Bun Klang Ban. Ngan Bun Klang Ban, which means merit making at the center of the village. It's one of the traditions of many ethnic groups in Thailand such as Thai Bung, Thai Puan, Lao Viet, and any Thai groups that lives around the Pasak River basin. This tradition differs from other religious ceremonies. The tradition's beliefs come from the combination between ancestor spirit beliefs and Theravada Buddhism faith. This tradition, Ngan Bun Klang Ban, is held for ancestor worship and to make merit to have an auspicious life. Also, the purpose of Ngan Bun Klang Ban is to enhance the fertility of all villagers after harvest season. Mostly, this tradition is held in the countryside. Besides the name Ngan Bun Klang Ban, each area has a different name. For example, citizens of Ha Song Phra district in Uttaradit province call this tradition as Song Bat Song Muang. Citizens of Nong Tao district in Lopburi province call it Tham Bun Den Hok, which means to make married at the 6th month. And citizens of Ban Ha district in Phetchaburi province call it Song Wa Song Viet. The beliefs of the tradition Ngan Bun Klang Ban has evidence which shows that its origin is over 200 years ago since the Sukhothai kingdom period. This tradition is combined between Buddhism and spiritual belief. It comes along with giving thanks to spirits for giving an abundant harvest to villagers. All people say that this tradition is originally held only for a 12 year during April to August, but it's changed to be once a year on the 8th day of the waxing moon in the 6th lunar month. Ngan Bun Klang Ban is held in a wide area of the village every year to rally the villagers to join this tradition together. The detail of the ritual is different in each area. So that's the background of the origin and history of Ngan Bun Klang Ban.
Okay, so let's move on to the next point. I will inform you about the belief and the purpose of this tradition. So, the idea of the belief and the tradition is to worship and make merit and be grateful to the ancestor who gave them the integrity of agriculture. Further, it is believed that good deeds should be dedicated to the guardian spirit and enemies of present and former life for the protection of life to be peaceful and happy, and also to have progress in their jobs. Moreover, the villagers also believe that changing the village backward through a ceremony will prolong their life and also chase away bad things in their life. This includes praying for rain so that crops will be abundant as well. So every villagers will make a banana leaf vessel, or as we know as gratong. And in some certain beliefs, they will make a gratong adhere to the waxing and the waning moon. If they decide to do the ceremony when the moon is waxed, then the gratong shape is rectangular. If the moon is wane, then the gratong shape is triangle. And then they will put the pottery dolls made from clay by counting from their family members and their animals, because it is believed that they make those to receive misfortune instead of themselves. And if some household has a vehicle like a car, they will make one in a tiny figure. And besides, some make good objects in their house in a gratong. And a gratong will also put the pepper, salt, rice, grilled fish, and onion inside. And a gratong will also have embroidered flags around each corner as well. Apart from that, they will bring the holy water from the ceremony to drink, as believing it will heal them from diseases and as there's luck within their household. And when the ceremony has finished, they will, in some areas, they will also tether the holy thread from Ngan Bun Klang Ban to every house, so that this luck spreads thoroughly. And afterward, it is a special time for the villagers to have a meal and ask about each other's livelihood, as well as solve various problems together within the village. And also, there is a sand pagoda or sand cherries as a symbol that villagers make in unison, because which is believed to be offerings to the Buddha from a story of Dhammapada, or in other words, it's a collection of sayings of the Buddha. And in some areas have places which can create harmony in their village, or in some areas they believe to use this tradition as a stratagem to survey their populations and animals. And most important is to have the next generation to conserve this tradition for the prosperity of the village. So much for the belief and the purpose of this tradition.
Please directly to the next point. I will illustrate the process of this tradition. Villagers usually set the date of merit making Ngan Bun Klang Ban during April to August of every year. Each locality has its own date and time according to its inhabitants, or they can consider 3 days to set up. Most of them usually set the date on the 15th day of the waxing moon in the 6th lunar month, and they will use the empty place at the center of the village, such as multi-purpose building, to perform the ritual. This ritual takes 1 to 2 days to complete. This Ngan Bun Klang Ban ritual begins when the monks play in the evening at the ceremony area. And at the same time, the villagers will bring sand, incense, candles, and flowers, then place them into a jar and pour water into it in order to make holy water for the ceremony. Then, the villagers will join together to offer breakfast to the invited monks in the amount of 5 or 7 or 9. The monks will play for the auspicious for the villagers. Then, the villagers will bring kratongs which contain pottery dolls and along with various items prepared, such as oxen, cars, birds, and place them on the floor at the center where the ceremony takes place. When the monks finish praying, the villager will push all kinds of offered food with shredded banana leaves, with rice, paddy, garlic, salt, chili, and onion in gratong. Villager representative will throw gratongs and oxen, cars, and horse to place at the T junction of the village. In some localities, gratong is placed in the west or in or eight directions. As flogging, they will have to acclaim for like 3 times, and one will hold the holy water bowl and sprinkle throughout all the way to the destination. At the end of the ritual, when the villagers arrive at their home, they will use red plaster to spec 4 points on the door or the entrance of the house. The villagers call this shape as Kalasipa, as a sign of a holy house. So, well, this brings us to the end of our presentation. Before we stop, we will go through our main points again. We've introduced you to the origin and history, beliefs, purposes, and processes. Then, we tend to remind you about the value of this tradition. So to wrap up, Ngan Bun Klang Ban is a tradition. Ngan Bun Klang Ban has been a tradition from many Thai ethnic groups for more than 200 years. And it believed to give them faith, a sense of belonging or integrity, and showing gratefulness to the ancestor or guardian spirit for protection, including worship, prayer, and meaning in their life. The process of Ngan Bun Klang Ban is usually set up during April to August of each year and chooses the center space of the village to perform the ritual. The important stuff of this tradition are kratongs, pottery dolls, and holy water. And the villagers will have a big meal together to ask about each other's lives or solve a problem. But from an outsider point of view, we can all agree that the purpose of this tradition might seem insignificant, insignificant as such as talking through their problems or spending their time together. But this obvious that this tradition creates harmony and keep them as a one strong big family by shared belief. So why should we care about this tradition? Because as local people believe that Ngan Bun Klang Ban is a very special and significant tradition to them. It shows their identity, but it shows their identity through the way they do the ceremony and a sense of belonging to the village, which is the most important thing that we can acknowledge. We would therefore like to suggest that Ngan Bun Klang Ban is another tradition that we can at least appreciate it like the other traditions and see the value that it has a beautiful meaning behind. We'll be so glad if the information we give you today inspires you to find out more about it. We are happy to answer any question you may have. Thank you for listening to our presentation. Yes?
May I ask question?
Yes.
What is the event between Lunar New Year's and Ngan Bun Klang Ban?
The little event between Lunar New Year and Ngan Bun Klang Ban is that the way members of the family come back home to recall to their deceased ancestors.
And they have to meet their family. Does I answer in your question? Yes.
Could you tell us why the villager have to place her home at the T junction or at the west?
The purpose that they have to place their homes whether at the T junction or in the west is to offer food to the spirits. And the villagers believe that T junction is full of ghosts and spirits, and it is believed that it is an unholy spot. For the west, they believe that it is the direction of the dead. Yes?
Could you explain to us what happened with the villager who after we know what is not contributed to the number of their family members or animals?
Okay, so the molding pottery dolls is one of the belief in the ceremony. So I think it's okay to lack of some of the numbers of the pottery dolls because it's one of the belief. Does that answer your question?
Any question?
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Has anyone in your group ever experienced Ngan Bun Klang Ban before?
Experience with Ngan Bun Klang Ban, right?
Yes.
Yes, I have an experience with Ngan Bun Klang Ban because I live in Lopburi province. My village is held this. My village organize this ceremony every year because all of the village are it called the ethnic group that called Thai Puan. So every year we have to come back to our home to spend time with family. We have to mold the pottery doll and we come to the ceremony to join the tradition together.
Any question?
I have another question.
Yes.
Would you mind sharing us the difference between Songkran and Ngan Bun Klang Ban?
I think you all have already known Songkran, right? Songkran, yeah, we focus on older and
Visiting older.
yes, and visit family, meet family, spend time together. But in Ngan Bun Klang Ban, we focus on deceased.
We focus on being grateful to the deceased ancestors and also to make merit to the spirits.
The difference is about alive people and deceased people.
Yes.